Good morning. Uh, the other day we had stopped at debt equity ratio. Yes. And today we are going to start off with again a very, very important ratio, which is one of the liquidity ratios. If you remember, I told you the other day that having good profit is nice. Having a good profit with low cash is very risky, very dangerous. So, how do we check profitability? It is very simple. It is very much seen on the face of the balance sheet of the P&L. Sorry, we can see how much is profit before tax, how much is tax, how much profit after tax. It's a directly clean figure. But we have to understand what is the liquidity position of the company. Liquidity means how much cash position they have. And for that, there is an amazing ratio, which is known as current ratio. Okay, so today we are going to talk about current ratio, in which, if you remember, I had discussed about what is a current asset and what is a current liability. Have you already discussed that? Current asset, current liability, both? Yes. So you can directly give the heading as current ratio. I'll just dictate a one-liner first, then I'll discuss what ratio this is, okay? Write down, this ratio discusses the liquidity position. This ratio discusses the liquidity position of the company. An ideal current ratio is 2:1. An ideal current ratio is 2:1. Did we discuss this 2:1 same thing somewhere else? Yes, where? In the debt to equity ratio. Okay, and a very similar point means 2:1 basically we are going to discuss in current ratio. So let us just try to understand what exactly does this mean. Again, I'm on L&T balance sheet and I'm quickly showing you the position of L&T for liquidity. Yes. Here you can see current assets. We'll also have a quick revision. What are current assets? Tell me. Very good. Money which can be, so assets which can be converted into cash or cash equivalents within a period of 1 year. Okay, that is a current asset. And what is the current liability? Same. Not generating, but which is payable. Okay, so money which becomes payable within 1 year is a current liability. So let us check how much are current assets for L&T. If you just have a total of current assets, okay, year, all these current assets put together are for other current assets bhi isme aa gaya, right? So I guess it's somewhere coming up to 44,090. Okay, we'll round it off to 44,000. Roughly it is coming to, can you see here? See, in current assets, here you can see inventory, they have directly written in outer column. Then in financial assets, we have investments, trade receivables, cash and cash balances, cash and cash equivalents, sorry, other bank balances, all this. Total of this is coming to 43,800, and finally other current assets ke saath it is coming to 44,090. And if you check how much are current liabilities, wait, can you just quickly take a total? Even I do have a calci. I think they have not given it in a very nice. We will do one thing. We'll also go to money control simultaneously. The rows ka formatting something is different. Chalo, quickly tell me, where do I go? What do I tap on? Financials. Money control makes our job very easy. See here, they'll be giving this figure easily. Total current assets. I was telling you, thoda sa na iska formatting was going wrong. See, what had happened was inventory they have taken to outer column. All these financial assets again in the inner column. ये बीच में other current assets outer column. So uska we would have been required to take the total again of this. So instead of this, in money control, you can see here total assets, total current assets. Easily it is given here directly. How much are the total current assets? 91,153. And what is the meaning of this? Within 1 year, I have 91,153 of liquid assets. Okay. But if I go to current liabilities now, how much are total current liabilities? 70,231. So if you check, it's not 2:1. Agreed. But what could be a worst situation? Assets कम है and liabilities ज़्यादा है. So my current assets are lesser than my current liabilities. That is a worst position. Why? It means that within 1 year, I have to pay more and receive less. Okay, so an ideal ratio is 2:1. But what could be a worst situation where current ratio is below 1:1? And a ratio below 1:1. So we'll just write down the negative side also. A ratio below 1:1. A ratio below 1:1 where current assets, a ratio below 1:1 where current assets are lower than लिखेंगे या higher than लिखेंगे? Current assets are lower than current liabilities. Current assets are lower than current liabilities. Is what? Good or is dangerous? Is dangerous. Okay, I'm taking you to one more balance sheet. The balance sheet is of money, is of Infosys, sorry. Okay, let's check what is the position of Infosys. Tell me quickly how much are total current liabilities? 15,430. So let's round it off to 15,000 as of now. And what is the current asset position? 46,223. So this is a ratio of almost greater than 3:1. 3 current assets है and so 45 के ऊपर गया ना? So 3:1. Current assets are much higher than current liabilities. Okay, so it's definitely a good sign. Have you understood this? A simple ratio. So higher the better. But if it is excessively high, we have to check where exactly or why is the ratio very high. So just to give you an example, let's say my trade receivables are excessively high. Ratio is, let us say, 5:1. Cash and cash equivalent is not that big component of 5:1. My trade receivables is a huge component. Then what do we check? I mean, what could be the reason? Trade receivable का meaning क्या था? Customer from whom money is receivable. And if trade receivable is on a very high side, let us say out of a component of 5 of current asset, 4 are trade receivables. What does it mean? A lot of money is still receivable from a debtor, which is not such a good sign. Okay, and if you check this, I'll show you one more very amazing disclosure which is there in the annual report. So if you check here, trade receivable note number is 11. Okay, so we'll just quickly go to note number 11 for L&T. Yes. Trade receivables. So here also we can get to know about some additional information. Actually, I'll tell you there's one more, we'll just search for that afterwards. There is definitely one disclosure which comes up in the annual report wherein we get a figure of debtors which are from which money is receivable for more than 6 months and debtors from whom money is receivable for less than 6 months. If the majority chunk of debtors are within 6 months receivable and very less are debtors more than 6 months, good sign or bad sign? good sign. And if it is a reverse way, receivable within 6 months kuch bhi nahi hai, receivable for more than 6 months is a big number, then that's a bad sign, because these are the debtors to whom we have at least sold our goods, but from whom money is not yet received. Okay, so debtors for more than 6 months, if it is again a higher chunk, is not a good sign at all. It is very much there in the balance sheet. We'll just have to quickly search for that. We'll do that afterwards. Then we get to know that more than 6 months and less than 6 months ka ratio kya hai. Okay till here? Yes. Any other balance sheet you want to check for current ratio? Just one. TCS. It's again going to be a good ratio. Generally, IT companies are good in liquidity. Current liabilities is how much? 18,896, roughly 19,000 we can say. And current assets, too much, 80,000. But that's what I said. Now here the ratio is coming to roughly 4:1, thoda sa zyada hai. So we have to understand inka exactly where is the majority chunk placed now. So if you see here, majority chunk is placed in current investments, which is not such a bad sign. But followed by the second one is trade receivables, which is 24,029. So again, as I mentioned, we have to check how much old these debtors are. If this is a long time that we have not yet received money, then there are chances that they would not pay, and that might be a default. So we have to be a little cautious on this. But still I can say number one is current investment. So still a thumbs up. Current ratio is clear? Yes. Can we move on immediately? Yes. We are going to discuss one more very important parameter which comes up for your liquidity only. That is known as a free cash flow. Okay, so give the next terminology as free cash flow. First, I'll just dictate a one-liner meaning for that. It is calculated as cash flow from operations minus net investment in fixed assets. Okay. Now to understand this ratio, cash flow from operations, we are going to learn this statement for the first time today. Statement of cash flows. Till date we have discussed only two statements, and which were these? Balance sheet and P&L. Okay, so two major reports we can say rather than statement, two major reports. One report talking about assets and liabilities position, which is the balance sheet, and one report talking about the profits or losses, which is discussed in the P&L. Today we are discussing the third report, which is a very important report, cash flow statement. And believe me, that balance sheet might be altered, P&L might be altered, but altering cash flow statement is very difficult. Why? Because it's about actual cash in and cash out. No? Altering how much is the receivable sale, or how much is the provision. Okay, maybe I'll tell you why I talked about sale. There are some companies, we call that as channel stuffing. Typical terminology in financial forensic audit is channel stuffing. What does this mean? That the customer has not yet placed the order only. They are just inquiring. But we want to have good sale. So they will just push it as sale. Channel stuffing matlab kya? They'll also ship it. Okay, they'll have their own port, maybe एक छोटा सा godown or a warehouse near some seaport. They'll ship it to that port. They'll ship it to that warehouse. They'll call the customer again and again. Ship up, मतलब हमारा ship निकल चुका है. We do have a consignment which has been shipped. Would you really want to have it or not? Okay, ये कब होता है बताती हूँ. Typically 31st March के just पहले ये सब खेल चालू होता है. Why they want to increase the sale? Just in case the customer denies, Still it's okay. Let the consignment be there. In the first or second week of April, still if the customer is not ready, get it back. Okay, now what happened? Let us understand. At the end of March, your sales increased. And in the beginning of April, your sales return increased. With me? In the month of March, what happened? Sales increased. And in the month of April, sales return increased. You are okay with that. Why? March to ho gaya. You got good numbers for March. You can very proudly say that this year our sale numbers have doubled. उसमें से कितना ये ऐसा वाला, you'll have to check. Okay. So, see, unfortunately, we as investors, we can't have a monthly breakup of how much was sale in the month of March, how much was sale in the month of April. All these small details we can't have. That details are there only with the auditor. So, in such cases, auditor has to be very cautious. But how much sales actually have happened? Typically in the month of March and in the month of April. But if you know there is one industry which declares its monthly sales also, is there in the newspapers? Any idea? They declare their sales figures. And that is automobile sector. Automobile sector companies, roughly in the first week of every month, you'll get the figure in all the business newspapers. Maybe Business Standards, maybe Economic Times. You'll get that every auto company would declare its sale numbers. Okay. And ये sale numbers अगर monthly मिल रहा है मुझे, then can it be easy for me to track that how much could be their financials in the coming quarter? Yes. So we have to be very careful. We have to understand that this data is easily available as far as automotive sector is concerned. So we should keep track with that data also. Okay. So moving back to cash flows, as I said, first declaring that it is a sale in the month of March and then returning it in the month of April. Can I say this is easily possible? These alterations are easily possible. But actually receiving cash, actually receiving the bank balance, altering this is really difficult. पैसा मिला या फिर नहीं मिला है, either or is possible. या फिर bank balance, it would get reflected or it would not get reflected. End of the story. Right? So cash flow statement is one which we cannot ignore. We have to understand what is the meaning of this. If the final net cash flow from operating activities is coming to this, what is the meaning of this? Is what we are going to discuss today in detail. So cash flow statement, before we understand this, if you remember, I had discussed two methods of accounting. One is a cash method and one is an accrual method. You remember this? Cash method and accrual method. In cash method, what happens? When do I book a sale? Only when I receive money, I will book a sale. Okay. So just as an example, if I declare a new batch, on day 1, 100 students are sitting in the class, but none of them have paid fees. They are just coming to see whether I can deliver or not. Okay. So none of the students has paid the fees. Shall I book a sale? Let's say it's just a one-day seminar or something like that. No, until and unless I receive the money, I don't book it. That is known as a cash system of accounting. But what do we mean by accrual system of accounting? Assume it was a one-day seminar. None of them have paid the fees even till the end of the seminar. Still, I'm asking them that within 3 days you have to pay it. We have given, assume this, I know this is a very impracticable scenario. In practical scenario, this will never happen, that it's a one-day seminar and still I'm allowing everyone to sit in the class. And I'm saying, okay, after the end of the seminar, pay me within 3 days. This would generally never happen. But just for you to understand the difference between cash and accrual. Okay. So again, assume it was a one-day seminar. Did my seminar get over? Yes. Ideally, should I be receiving money from all 100? Yes. So should I book a sale? Yes. I book a sale on the first day only. And as and how people start paying me, it's just that I go on getting money for the service which I have already rendered. Okay. But then what could happen in this case? 100 people had attended. I have booked sale for 100, but only 95 pay in next 3 days. And these 5 people have even stopped answering my calls. We call them as a bad debt. Bad debt. Debt comes again. So debtor say debt aaya na? And this is a bad debt. So is this a debtor from whom money is receivable or from whom money is not receivable? Bad debt हो गया ये. Bad debt कितना हो गया बोलो? Bad debt 5 rupees. 5 rupees is bad debt. So what do you expect? This guy is going to pay me money or is not going to pay me money? Is not going to pay me money. So higher the bad debts. Good or bad? Bad. Because I have already booked a sale, but I'm not going to get the money for that. Okay. A very, very, very important concept, especially in the banking sector. In banking sector, what happens? I've given a loan of 100 rupees. I've given a loan of 100 rupees. I have received back 95 rupees by way of installments. Assume that 100 was the principal amount. Okay. And principal plus interest zyada aega na? So assume that total receivable was 110 with interest. Receivable by the bank was 110. How much have actually been received? 95 have actually been received. And I'm following up that person, but I can't even trace that person now. Absconding. How much was still receivable from that person? 15. This 15 is known as bad debt. But in banking sector, instead of bad debt, I'm sure you have heard this word. This is known as an NPA. It's a non-performing asset. See, the word itself is self-explanatory. It's a non-performing asset. Is it easy now? Yes. Let's think about this. If I'm into cash system of accounting, does the question of NPA, does the question of bad debt arise? No. Because I'm going to book the sale only when I receive the money. I'm going to book purchases only when I pay the money. So उस केस में तो bad debts का concept ही नहीं आएगा. But in India, can we follow cash system of accounting for companies, listed companies? Answer is no. Why listed companies? Even private limited companies, you are not allowed to use cash system of accounting. You have to follow which method? Compulsory, we have to follow accrual method of accounting. Okay. Why? Who's that? Why? Okay. Why के लिए एक simple reason हो सकता है. See, government is always very hungry for taxes. Correct? So what I can say is that my customers are not paying me money. So I don't have enough profit. So let us say actual sales figure was 1000 rupees in crores, whatever. Actual sales figure was 1000, but I have received money only for 200, na? So what will I say? Assume that my total cost is, let us say, 80%. So this will come up to, yes, 800, correct? 200 is my profit, and here it will come to 80% will be 160, na? And balance will be 40. And if you are talking about a 30% tax, how much is 30% of this? It will be 60, and here it will be 12. कोई तो रो रहा है. And who is that? Government. Government is not happy with this scenario. They are saying that we should have received 60 rupees tax, but in your case we'll receive only 12 rupees of tax. And everyone will say that we have received money late, we have received money late. That is up to the businessman. Businessman, it's your business, you have to ensure that you get money. Otherwise you don't sell to a customer from whom you feel that money might not be received. So I'll tell you for my business also. Like, I have few centers, even outside Pune, where my recorded lectures are played. So this is like a virtual classroom now. So students will, I'll give you an example of Aurangabad. In Aurangabad, there's a virtual center. So he declares batches that this batch we are going to run for, let us say, CA final audit. Okay. Students will take the admission. They'll sit here, but they don't see me live. They'll see me on the screen. Okay. Now what could happen if every single time this person says, ma'am, I'll pay you within 1 month. I'll pay you after 2 months. I'll pay you after 3 months. Then what decision should I take? Next batch, I should not give him the rights. This is the businessman's call. And if I say government, I will book my revenue only when I receive money, and you will get taxes only when I receive money. Doesn't sound good. So it's the businessman's business decision to recover money in a prompt manner. In fact, you might be knowing this, that in big companies, you have a separate department which is known as an AR department. And AR is an account receivable department. Completely separate department for this. And काम क्या है इनका? Follow up. किससे कितना पैसा? Because that is the biggest thing. If you don't have liquidity, you're going to end up in a big problem. What is happening with construction companies right now? Liquidity is the big problem for them. And if you don't have liquidity, it will be very difficult for you to continue your business. Okay, so liquidity is very important, right? So now quickly tell me, when we were talking about the profit and loss statement, how do we calculate profit? It's nothing but my incomes minus my expenses. So 20 is my profit. Can I say it means that I have 20 rupees cash and cash equivalent? If my sales are 100, if my cost is 80, can I say that my profit is 20? Agreed. Profit is 20. Can I say I have cash and cash equivalents worth rupees 20? Yes or no? No. No. Why?
Because probably we are still
Accrual. That's what we are trying to understand. Sales might be 100, but out of this, credit sale might be 70 and cash sale might be 30. So I have only 30 rupees with me right now. 70 is still receivable. And assume that out of 80, 60 rupees I have paid right away. नहीं हो ही नहीं सकता है, sorry. 60 rupees is credit. I have purchased on credit. And 20 rupees is cash purchase. So how much cash have I spent? 20. And how much profit in that case I would have if I were to record only on cash basis? Only on cash basis, sales cash was 30. And purchases was, cash purchase was 20. So how much is left with me? 10. इसके ऊपर वापस tax. Hardly anything would have been left in my hand. Okay, so please understand one very, very, very important concept. What are we saying? This profit need not be my figure of cash and cash equivalent. Because which system of accounting are we following? Accrual system of accounting. Is this fit into your mind? Till date you might have got this impression that my profit is what I have with me. No, profit might be different and my cash and cash equivalent might be different. So today what we are going to focus on is the cash flow statement. This actually tells us how much cash I have, how much cash and cash equivalent I have. So of course I'm not going to teach you to, how we are going to how this entire plus minus is done. But I'll just talk about some basic points. Here if you can see, profit before tax. And how much is profit before tax? 8743. Should this be equal to how much money I have? Necessary or not necessary? Not necessary. So there could be some differences. There could be some points of differences where I have received a profit, but I might not have received cash for it. So I'll give you a simple example for this. Do you know what is this depreciation? In Super 30 there was this word depreciation, and all CA students started laughing. You can see here depreciation, amortization, impairment, obsolescence. Baap re, ab ye kya hai? Anyone knows what is depreciation, amortization? No? Huh? Okay. So if you buy a machinery of 10 lakhs, you are saying that every year 10% will be depreciated. But what is depreciated? The value would reduce. The value of any asset will reduce. I'll give you a simple example now. I bought this laptop for, let us say, 60,000. This is like 1 year ago. Today if I were to sell the same laptop, would I get the same money? No. Because of two things. Number one, I've already used it for a long time. Okay, so thoda bahut to kharab ho gaya hoga. And number two, very important, especially with computers, comes up with technology. So it's not only because of wear and tear. Wear and tear means what? The quality of that asset has reduced because we are continuously using it. That's wear and tear. And number two that we are talking about is what? The technological obsolescence as well. So depreciation is nothing but, can I say depreciation is nothing but reduction in the value of the asset? Depreciation is what? Reduction in the value of asset because of two major things. Which two major things? So wear and tear, number one, because I'm using it, and number two, time. Time may mainly it will be time ja raha hai because that will lead to obsolescence in technology as well now. Okay, so let me take example of this bench. We bought this bench 3 years ago. Today if I were to sell this bench, will I get the same value? No. only because of one reason though, wear and tear. Here technology time is not involved so much. Simple hai? Yes. So have you already written cash flow statement as a heading or no? Oh, free cash flow we have written as a heading. So just leave maybe 8 to 10 lines blank. And then, because to understand free cash flows, we have to understand some terminologies before that as well. So first let us write down the concept of depreciation. Depreciation. What will you write? Reduction in the value of asset. Reduction in the value of asset. Due to what? Reduction in value of asset due to what? Wear and tear. Wear and tear. And technological obsolescence. So I'll spell it out for you if you want. Wear and tear is basic usage, and technological obsolescence. So basically technology purana ho gaya. And technological obsolescence is known as depreciation. Okay, this term is mainly used for tangible fixed assets. ये class sentence लिखेंगे. This term is generally used for tangible fixed assets. Right? So can I say this AC's value will also go down? Yes. The buildings, the building could be a little bit different. Building generally, so building might depreciate, but land? Land will generally appreciate. Land would generally not depreciate. So land is generally treated as the only exception for depreciation. Because is there anything known as wear and tear for land? There's no wear and tear for land. Plain land, plot of land I'm talking about. Is there anything like technological obsolescence? No. So there's no point for depreciation for land. But other than land, all assets will be treated as depreciable assets. Okay? But then after depreciation, you came across this word known as amortization. So amortization is same like depreciation. Only thing is that it is used for intangible assets. Amortization word is used for intangible assets. So there only you can write down. Next terminology is amortization. Amortization. What could be the one liner? Reduction in the value of what? Intangible bolenge. Reduction in the value of intangible assets. ठीक है? You know what is a tangible asset, by the way? I can see, I can touch. It's a tangible asset. This bench, my laptop, projector, all these are tangible assets. And what is an intangible asset? I can't see, but it exists. Okay, so can I record knowledge in my books of accounts? Knowledge asset. But instead of knowledge, I can say copyright. Softwares. Softwares are intangible assets. It does exist, but I can't see. Look at that. That is a software. I can't see that. But a software on a CD, I can say this is a Corel Draw software, or it is a Tally software, which is a very famous accounting software. So the CD is tangible, but the software which is placed on that CD is obviously intangible. Okay, can I say softwares are also going to have loads and loads of updates, and जो software में भी 5 साल पहले बना होगा, that same software today, if they have not made any upgradations, then the value is going to reduce. That's an amortization. Okay, I'll give you one more example. It could be like a copyright. You know what is a copyright? And what is that?
It's like prevention of intellectual property.
Okay. He's saying that it's prevention of someone else stealing the intellectual property. But in India, copyright has a different meaning. Indians say copyright is a right to copy. So they just give a damn to copyright. Okay. So, but ideally, what is a copyright? You are not allowed to copy that content. That's a copyright. You will see on many books there is a C written and it will be circled. That's a copyright. Okay. On all literatures, you'll have a copyright. Like Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. She was a very ordinary, matlab not at all rich person. But as and how Harry Potter started to get famous, as and how copies started to get sold, I guess the position of ranking among the top 100 richest persons in the world एक time पे मिला था उनको. So copyright का पैसा कैसे मिलता है? So when she thought about the Harry Potter concept, you have to register that first. So in India also, if you create some literature, and if I want no one else should copy this, then I should get it copyrighted. There is an authority. You have to go there, you have to fill up the forms, and then they will check कि आपने ही पहले किसी का नहीं ना चुराया है. So it should be an original content, then you get it copyrighted, and if someone else is now wanting to use that content, then he or she, someone else using your content, has to pay you something known as royalty. If you have heard about this, royalty payment देना पड़ता है if you are using the copyright of someone else. Okay. So those authors who have written beautiful books and those who have copyrighted it, that is a major source of income for them. Okay, so generally copyright is related to literature, number one, and number two, any sorts of artistic films or any films, I can say. So films are also copyrighted. So if I would, name of the film would be copyrighted. Okay, so you have to understand that all these films, the main content also, that if you are not paying royalty and if you are still using it, that is nothing but piracy. Okay, so now let us understand, if I have a copyright for a book, why would the value go down? So for that, understand that whenever I register any copyright in India, I register it generally for 10 years. So let us say today I have registered it. Today it got some value after registering. It's my intellectual asset which I have registered. Okay. So let us say today there are various valuation methods for that. We are not going to go into the valuation methods. So let us say today the valuation of that is coming to 1 crore rupees. ज़्यादा हो गया क्या? नहीं. 1 crore rupees is the valuation of my intellectual property, the copyright. So now what would happen? Today it is 1 crore. At the end of 10 years, it will be, at the end of 10 years, it is going to be 0. Why? Because it was recorded only for 10 years. Okay. So do you think that it would be logical if in my balance sheet, my copyright appears at 1 crore, year 1, year 2, 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 crore, till year 10, 1 crore, and in year 11, 0. Is this logical or illogical? Illogical. See, if the life of my copyright is 10 years, then ideally the life is reducing by one year as the year passes. So don't you think this 1 crore I should very systematically, I should go on reducing the value year on year? What could be a simple math for this? 1 crore is the value of my copyright. The life is 10 years. So every year, 10%, that is 10 lakhs. What will I do? I will amortize, not depreciate. I will amortize the value of 10 lakhs. Why amortize? Why not depreciate? Why am I using the word amortize and not depreciate? It's an intangible asset. I can't see a copyright, but it is there. Are you getting me? Yes. When the word depreciation and when the word amortization is used. So last time, depreciation is used for what? Tangible assets, and amortization is used for intangible assets. Okay till here? Yes. So now let us understand this. Assume that my sales was 100. My all other costs, all material costs, this, that, some basic costs were, let us say, 60. And if you remember the other day I discussed this concept, EBITDA, in that Excel sheet, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. बहुत heavy हो गया. We'll break it up. What is it? What is EBITDA? Earning. Earning है. Is 40 rupees my earning? Yes or no? 40 rupees is my earning. Why 40 rupees is my earning? My gross earning was 100. My cost was 60. My net earning is 40. First standard mathematics. Earnings. But this earning is before charging. Before I have charged interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. These costs I have to still deduct. Once I deduct all the costs, these costs, which three costs? Interest, tax and depreciation amortization. Once I deduct all these costs, then I will arrive at the final figure, which would be profit after tax. Oh, last step. Can I say that is my final profit? Final profit. Is this okay? So now let us understand. Earning before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. Generally then what do we deduct? We deduct depreciation and amortization. And let us say this is 10. My earnings before interest and tax is how much? 30. Assume that my interest was 0. Assume that it's a debt-free company. You remember this? We had talked about this, na? Debt-free company. Debt-free company means what? They don't have any liabilities as such. In the nature of loans, in the nature of debentures, long-term liability nahi unke paas koi. Okay, so assume that my interest is 0. So tell me, what is my earning before tax? 30. Earning before tax is 30. Achha, now please understand this. Assume that my full sale was in cash. Assume that all my purchases were in cash. Now this 40 and the cash balance left with me, will it be same now? Yes. Understand? Very nicely. Last time I am repeating. Assume that this entire 100 rupees was in cash. Assuming. Assume that my entire costs were paid in cash. How much is left with me? 40. So my EBITDA is 40. Book profit is 40. Can I say actual cash left with me is also 40? In my example, it will be 40 only. Now depreciation is 10 rupees. Depreciation is 10 rupees. I hope you are understanding now. And my profit, earning before tax, there is no interest. So earning before tax is what? 30. And how much cash is left with me? How much cash is left with me? It is 40. Why 40? Depreciation का difference आ गया. This 10 rupees का difference आ गया. Does it impact my cash flows? Does depreciation impact my cash flows? No. In what sense? Do I really have to give depreciation? Le lo, bhai, 20 crore rupees depreciation. Do I have to pay anyone? No. It's just a reduction in the value. Please understand this example. I bought this bench at, let us say, 3,000 rupees. And today its value is, let us say, 2,000 rupees only. Today if I were to sell it in the market, I won't fetch anything more than 2,000 rupees. Does this mean that from 3,000 to 2,000, this drop in the value of 1,000, does this mean I gave 1,000 rupees to someone? Le lo, mera bench ka value kam ho gaya, 1,000. Do I give it to anyone? No. Are you getting me? My laptop which I bought at 60,000 rupees a year ago, today its value is assumed 40,000. Did I give 20,000 rupees to anyone? No. My copyright which was at 10 lakhs rupees 1 year ago, today it is at 9 lakh. Did I give 1 lakh rupees to anyone? No. So this depreciation and amortization, is this a cash expenditure or this is a non-cash expenditure? It's a non-cash expenditure. You getting my point? It is a non-cash expenditure. We are here to calculate how much is cash with them. Abhi cash flow statement padh rahe na abhi. So in cash flow statement, if you just check this out, how are we starting the cash flow statement? It is profit before tax. How much is profit before tax for L&T? 8,743. So we'll just check this out. I'm saying this figure, earning before tax, is same as profit before tax. Earning before tax is same as profit before tax. How much is profit before tax for L&T? 8,743. And let us understand how much is the depreciation figure. Depreciation figure is 1067.95. So let us say depreciation is 1068, just as an example. Profit before tax was 8,743. Depreciation is 1068. Okay, I'm assuming, I know this is a very vague assumption, I'm assuming that for L&T all sales were cash sales, all costs were cash costs. Okay, so this profit before tax was, that is how it was derived at 8743. And if I ask you, tell me, even if profit is 8743, how much cash they might be having? So assuming that everything else is in cash, I know this is a vague assumption, but just for you to understand this concept, assume everything else was in cash. Then tell me exactly how much cash do they have with them right now? Will I deduct or will I add? I will add. Add kaise ho gaya? See, because here I am talking about, I am telling you directly this figure of 30. Earning before tax ka figure hai na ye? Okay, 30 rupees is what? Have you already deducted depreciation? How did I get to this figure? I know this is a very big khichdi. 1 minute. You understood it? Just try to understand it for the last time. See, I'm talking about sales, less all the costs, all the basic costs. I'm talking about earning before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. Then what do I deduct? Depreciation and amortization. What do I get? EBIT. EBIT. Okay. Then what do I deduct? Interest. What do I get? PBT, also known as EBT. Then I deduct what? T. And what do I get? PAT, profit after tax. Simple. Now assume that all sales were in cash, all costs were in cash. This depreciation and amortization is going to be in cash, or it's a non-cash expense? It's a non-cash expense. Assume interest was also paid in cash, full. Assume all taxes were, tax ke upar ja hi nahi rahe apan. We are here at 100 rupees. 100 rupees. And assume that my depreciation figure is 20. Now you have to tell me, this 100 rupees I have received, I have calculated after deducting depreciation or before deducting depreciation? After deducting depreciation. No? From sales first I deducted all the costs. From that figure I deducted depreciation. From that figure I deducted interest. And then I have got this 100 rupees ka figure. Okay. But this 100 rupees ka figure, is this all cash or there is one item which does not involve cash? There is one item which does not involve cash. And which item is that? Depreciation and amortization. So if I ask you that how much cash this company has, if I ask you how much profit before tax this company has? 100. How much profit before tax this company has? 100. How much cash does this company have? 100. Abhi aa gaya ut pahad ki niche. It will be 100 plus 20. Now see, this 100 I have already got after deducting 20. But this 20 rupees ka expenditure is nowhere related to cash expenditure. This is just an entry, book entry. We have not given 20 to anyone. Na? It is very much there in our pocket. Correct? So if I were to calculate actual cash, how much do I calculate? How do I calculate it? 100 plus 20. So I'll have 120 rupees as a cash flow with me. Are you getting my point? Yes. So in cash flow statement, where is the focus? Is focus on profitability or is focus on calculating the cash position? Cash position. That is a cash flow statement. Okay till here now? Yes. So now tell me, for L&T, if profit before tax is 8743, if their depreciation is 1068, and assuming, I know a weird assumption, but assuming that everything else is in cash and cash equivalent, then how much is my cash flow from operations? Correct, na? 9811 is what? My cash position with me. अब समझ में आया क्या? हाँ हाँ. No. See, because tax we will take it to, not here. It's taken somewhere else. एकदम end में tax अपन deduct करते हैं. Here we are starting with what? We are starting with profit before tax only. If we had started with profit after tax, then we would have been required to check tax has actually been paid or not. If actually not been paid, we have just provided for it, then we'll have to again add it back. Okay. So we are starting with what? Profit before tax. So I hope you have understood this. Depreciation and amortization would be add back or we would deduct? Add back. So there are, I've just taught you one item. So many items you have to decide whether to add back or deduct. And are you required to know why and what each and every item is added or deducted? No, this is the job of an accountant. You are not accountants. But I just thought of telling you one logic so that you understand the difference between, again, same difference between profit and cash position. That is why I thought of telling you depreciation point. Is this okay? Yes. So now if you check this, we started with profit before tax, which is 8743, and we'll have lots of pluses and minuses. Cash पे impact हुआ, cash पे impact नहीं हुआ, we'll add less, and finally what we get is a net cash from operating activities. What do we mean by operating activities? That is the core business. From your core business, how much money did you get? And if this is negative, horrible sign. Don't even think about buying this company. वो side में ही रखो directly. So if here the amount is in negative, what does this mean? Loss might not be in the profit and loss account. You might not have a loss in profit and loss account, but there could be great possibilities that there could be bad dates or money. See, basically it means that you have sold a lot, but recoverability is not good. Your liquidity position is not good. You're not receiving that much cash, and that's a horrible sign. Okay, if you see for L&T right now, the operating profit has, so cash flow has, so by the way, always remember this, the right hand side column is always previous year and left hand side column is always current year. Check any balance sheet, any damn balance sheet, it has to be in this fashion only. Current year is always to the extreme left, and then we go on years before and before and before. So money control has how many years? 5 years. Every balance sheet will only have 2 years. Okay. Achha, what do you think? Has their liquidity position improved, L&T, or has the liquidity position gone down a little bit? Gone down. And I may say that it's a big percentage. Almost I can see roughly 700 का difference है. So almost 25%. 20 to 25% के बीच में. So if the liquidity position, the operating cash flows are going down, that could be a cause of concern. Okay, so immediately we are not saying that scrap it out, but because still it is in positive. A negative operations from cash flows. So a negative operating cash flows is a complete no position. Is this okay? So now, if you were to take the next concept, write down cash flow from operating activities. Next point is, so after depreciation, after amortization, take the next one, cash flow from operating activities. Okay. We can just write down a one-liner. What is a one-liner? A negative cash flow from operating activities. Negative cash flow from operating activities is a good sign or a bad sign? Is a bad sign. Because it means that the core operations of the company, it means that the core operations of the company are not generating sufficient cash. Core operations are the main operations of the company are not generating sufficient cash. Okay. Operating cash flow is understood? At least as I said, you understand where I should not go. Where I should not go? Where there is a negative operating cash flow. By the way, how will you understand negative operating cash flow? It would be in bracket. So generally in accounting, we never write minus figure. You will not see minus in entire balance sheet or P&L. You will see it with bracket. So bracket means minus. Okay. So what are they saying? This bracket is like an outflow. Money is going out. So bracket is an outflow. Negative. So negative means, why negative? Because my cash is going out, na? That's why it's a negative. And positive, cash is coming in. So don't look into the notes also. Tell me, if I'm buying fixed assets, that will be a, wait. Good, you're buying assets, good. But your cash flow is negative, na? You're buying an asset, your cash flow is negative. You're selling an asset, cash flow is positive. कैश आ रहा है कि जा रहा है? कैश आ रहा है, so it is plus. Okay, fine till here. If I talk about sale of goods, plus, why? Cash is coming in, assuming that everything is in cash. And purchases of raw material, assuming in cash, minus, outflow, minus. Correct? So assume that my sales was 100 and cost was 80. My cash flow from operations will be 20. 100 minus 80 will be positive 20. But now let us understand reverse position. I sold goods of 100 and my total cash costs were 120. My sales were of 100 and total cash costs were 120. My cash flow from operations will be minus 20. That's a bad position. I hope you're understanding this now. Yes. So I'll just quickly show you on money control also. For Tata Consultancy Services, we can check. Till now, we had only checked in financials balance sheet. And now what can you see here? Cash flow. So you will directly get this figure, net cash flow from operating activities, like we had here. This net cash flow. There'll be no breakup on money control. Money control does not have this breakup. It will directly tell you net cash flow kitna. So how much is net cash flow for Tata Consultancy Services operating cash flow? Okay, so now here you can see 2017 it was 23,132, 18 it was 21,587, and in 19 again it is 23,998. It's a cash rich company. And we'll check their debt position, but ideally with this they should not be having any debt, or should be a very minimal debt. It's like minus one. I mean, no, as good as no debt. See how much are their debts? 33. And how much is equity? 79,000 almost. So I can very well say that it's a debt free company. Debt लेने की जरूरत ही नहीं है उनको. And now see, these three parameters are so much matching. Why did I thought of jumping to this? What fantastic operating cash flows. 23,000 crore. अगर आपको positive दिख रहा है उधर, what do we mean that? If I'm talking about cash flow from operations net is coming to 23,000 crores, it means they have actually that much of cash and cash equivalent from operating activities. Cash and cash equivalent could also be a bank balance. I'm not saying hard cash. Cash and cash equivalent from operating activities is 23,998 crores. If they are generating so much from their operations, why would they need a debt? Is this okay? Have you understood the meaning of operating activities cash flow now? Right? We are on to the next one now, cash flow from investing activities. Write down as the next one, cash flow from investing activities. आंसर गलत जाने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा है. So first think and then give me an answer. Don't be in a hurry to answer. Quickly tell me, if I say for a company, operating cash flows are in negative. Negative whatever is the figure. It's a good sign or a bad sign? Bad sign. Why? Major, there's more outflow rather than inflow from the core operations. Huh? If I'm talking about cash flow from investing activities is negative. Huh? So would this be necessarily a bad sign? No. See, in fact, if you are having a negative cash flow from investments, what is it meaning? When will I write in minus? If I purchase an investment, okay, understand this. If I purchase an investment, cash flow is plus or minus? Cash flow is minus because cash ja raha hai na? Cash is going out. So cash flow is minus. If I invest and if I sell, cash flow is positive. Why? I'm getting cash. Okay. So in fact, a negative cash flow is from investing activities should not necessarily be bad. In fact, it means that you're investing more and more. Is this okay? Yes. But there could be some positive parameters for investment also. Otherwise, you will say that always it has to be in minus because we are investing more and more. Understand? See, if you're investing somewhere, that investment should also generate some return for you. No? For example, if you have invested in debentures, what do we get as a return on debentures? Interest. We are receiving interest, plus or minus? Plus. Correct? If I have invested in shares, I will get dividend, plus or minus? Again a plus. I sold some investment, I got profit, plus. No. Did I receive dividend is the question. If answer is yes, it means it's a plus, na? Plus for cash flows. I'm not saying plus as go ahead with the decision. It's not about that. It will be a plus or minus cash flow. That's what we are discussing. So from cash flow from investing activities, please try to understand that the moment you see a negative investing cash flow does not mean that it is bad. But a negative operating cash flow definitely means that it's a bad sign. Is this okay? So write down. A negative cash flow from investing activities would not necessarily be treated as bad. Would not be necessarily treated as bad. As it would mean that what has happened? It would mean that what has happened? It would mean that we have invested more and sold less. It would mean that we have invested more and we have sold less. Good enough? Yes. Shall we move on to the last one? Last type of, so L&T also I showed you what is the position, cash flow position from investing activities. Okay, so here if you can see here, in March 17, it was minus 15,782. And those who did not understand the meaning of this, what we would have felt, or a minus cash flow. It's not a bad thing at all. It means that they have acquired something, they would have invested in something. And then they are slowly and steadily getting the returns maybe. So positive, does this mean that they have not invested anywhere? Not necessary. They might have invested somewhere, but they are started getting returns on that now. Okay. Last type of cash flow is cash flow from financing activities. Cash flow from financing activities. Okay, now if you see here for L&T, previous year how much was the cash flow from financing activities? Minus 3,489, and this year it is minus 4,449. Minus is increasing. Okay, in financing cash flow. Now let us understand first what do we mean by financing activity. First, operating activity ka meaning was clear. What was operating activity? Core business operations, the main business operation. Second one was investing activity. Have I invested somewhere in fixed asset, in other types of investment? That is an investing activity. Financing activity means what? I needed money for my business. I needed finance for my business. And there are two sources from which I can fund the money. If you remember, own funds, loan funds. Okay, that is my financing. Okay, so what is financing? Does financing talk about investing somewhere, or does financing talk about raising money for your business? Either raising money or repaying money. So for example, if I raised money through a loan, okay, I raised money through a loan, मेरे लिए बिजनेस के लिए पैसा अंदर आ रहा है या बाहर जा रहा है? अंदर आ रहा है. So if I'm raising money by way of loan, my cash balance, cash and bank balance is increasing. So it will be a positive cash flow or a negative cash flow? Positive cash flow, because cash balance is increasing. And if I repay the loan, cash and bank balance, cash and cash equivalent will decrease. So what do we mean by negative cash flow from operations? Are we taking more finance, or are we repaying the finances taken? We are repaying the money which we had taken earlier. So if you see here, this point 974, what is this? What is the meaning of this? Repayment of non-current borrowings. Okay, so this is a minus. Good sign or bad sign? Good sign, they're repaying whatever they had borrowed. Okay, wait. See, if you're borrowing money, you have to pay something to keep your shareholders happy. And what is that? What do we pay to the shareholders? Dividend. So if you see here, a major negative here is 2,243 crore rupees of dividend paid. So if we are paying dividend, na, so my cash flow is going up or going down? It's going down. But I should be happy if the cash flow is going down. They are paying dividend. And when will they pay dividend? If they are in profits or if they are in losses? If they are in profits. So again, understand. If this is a negative cash flow, could it be still treated as a good sign? Good sign. Why? They are repaying the borrowed money, number one. Number two, they are paying dividends. They are paying interests. So they are obliging their requirements. Okay. So please understand, two sets. Operating activities on one hand and investing and financing activities on the other hand. Operating in a negative cash flow is completely bad sign. But on the other hand, investing and financing, if in negative, is not a bad sign at all. In fact, that might be considered as a good sign. Is this okay? So let us write down for financing activities now. Non-current means long term. It's not current. Current means what? Within 1 year. Non-current, long term, more than 1 year. Non-current, it's like a long term borrowing, na? 5 years loan, 6 years loan. That's like a non-current borrowing. Okay? So right now, cash flow from financing activities. Right? You can write here a negative cash flow from financing activity means that we have taken more finance or repaid more money. We have repaid. We had repaid the money borrowed earlier. We have repaid the money borrowed earlier. Full stop. The negatives could also be because of. The negatives could also be because of. Can I say dividend payments and interest payments? Yes, could also be because of dividend payments and interest payments. If you see your last one, interest paid, and again in minus. Fair enough till here? Have you understood what is a cash flow statement now? Yes, isn't it an important statement? It will actually tell you about cash inflows and cash outflows rather than only accrual system of accounting. Okay, and the first point with which we started, wherein we have left some 8 to 10 lines. What was that? That was free cash flows. So go back to that space where you had left some space. Free cash flows. Have I dictated anything for free cash flows?
One line.
What is that?
It is calculated as cash flow from operations minus net investment in fixed assets.
So what is this free cash flows now? Let us understand. See, can I say operating activities se jitna paisa generate ho gaya? That's a good sign. How much have I generated from operating activities? 2,249 crores rupees. Now the only question is, do I have this entire money with me right now? Or would I need this money to even expand my business? See, this is the cash flow which I have actually generated from my core operations. Would I ideally want to expand my business? Yes. If I were to expand, I would be required to invest more and more in fixed assets. I would be required to buy more and more of plant and machinery, more and more of buildings to expand. And if this is only in negative, will I be able to invest anywhere? No. Okay, so this is an important factor, that it has to be in positive. Agreed. But then we also have to understand how much they have already invested in fixed assets. Okay. To calculate this, if you check this, 2,249 was what? Money total generated in positive. Now you have to go for cash flow from investing activities now. In cash flow from investing activities, you will find these first two lines which talk about what? Expenditure on your fixed assets. Okay, so first you will see expenditure on acquisition of fixed assets, and second you will see sales of fixed assets. Why fixed assets are important? What were the examples of fixed assets, by the way? Building, plant, machinery, furniture fixture, all these are fixed assets. Why do you require fixed assets? To run the business is like a major thing. You can't have a factory in the open air. You need a building for that. Okay, so these are your fixed assets. So now if I check for L&T, what has happened is that 2,249 was their basic cash inflow or outflow, tell me? Cash inflow we had, correct? So money that they had was 2,249 minus 1,571 is what? Purchase of fixed assets. 1,571. 678 is still left after acquiring new fixed assets also. And 785 they have got money from selling the fixed assets. So will I add or deduct to the cash flow? To the cash flow I'll add 785. So they are still left with a cash flow of 1,463 crores, cash and cash equivalent. And it's a very good position now. Yes, I'll tell you what happens in some companies. They'll have good basic operating cash flow, but there could be some type of companies for acquiring all the intangible assets like softwares. You'll have continuous updations in softwares. Right? Go back some 20 years ago, wherein we had that 286 and 486 speed wala PCs. Then we shifted to higher versions. What was the next for 286 and 486 ke baad? Pentium. Then from Pentium we went to, and all these different, and now it's like what, quad core and all that, very, very high speed processing, everything. So if we are not investing in technology, then any technological company would like not be able to survive. So for them, every time investing in new and new technology requires high cash and cash equivalent. if your free cash flows, see free cash flow means what? पैसा बिजनेस से इतना जनरेट हो गया, जो मेरे को फिक्स एसेट लेना था वो भी हो गया, अब बचा कितना है? 1463. I'll repeat one more time. It's a very important concept. How much was my basic money which I received from my main business? 2243. From this major generated money, I need to invest in fixed assets. I have no choice. If I'm an IT company, I need to invest in newer and newer softwares. If I'm a infrastructure company, I need to invest in more and more machines. I don't have a choice here. I have to if I want to expand my business. Correct? So the next step is how much have I invested in fixed assets? And what remains is my free cash flow. What is a free cash flow? Free cash flow is nothing but main operations say whatever money I received and major chunk which was necessary for buying fixed assets, that also has gone. Now what do I do with this? Anything I want. I can invest. I can give dividend. Okay, now that would be my choice. There would be no basic obligation left with me as such. Okay, there could be some companies which are generating very nice profitability. Their operating profits might also be high, but they always are required to invest in newer and newer and newer technologies. And their free cash flows will be bad. Telecom sector, same thing. Na? Those who invested in 2G, earlier they had good profit. Operating cash flow was also good, but always they were required to invest in newer and newer technologies. And always problem was with what? Free cash flows. How much is left after investing in fixed assets also? Are you getting my point? Yes. So what is important? Is operating cash flow important? Yes. But one step higher, rather than operating cash flows, your free cash flows are important. If a company has very good profitability and always back to back 4 years, 5 years, they are having negative free cash flows, still you should stay away from this company. Don't buy into this company. Okay, please understand. Why I'm saying for back to back 4 or 5 years. In the initial phases of business, what could happen? Tell me. Initial phases of business, you are getting a good operating cash flow, but free cash flow is in negative in the initial phases of business. Why this might be required? You need plant and machinery. You need to expand. Even if you are not in the initial phase, you are in the expansion phase. Still maybe 1 year, 2 year, you might be required to invest. But every single year, if you are investing in newer and newer plant, newer and newer machinery, newer and newer buildings, this could be a case that you are not managing your finances very well. I'll tell you a classic case of education sector. You will not find that in any balance sheet on NSE, BSE. But if you know this, there are many educational institutes. In Pune, there's a very renowned educational institute, Sinhagad. But now renowned for a different reason. In a bad sense. Because if you know this, it's in such a bad financial position right now. There are staff members, teachers who have not yet been paid for a period of almost 2 years. Why they are working is a big question. Because all the teachers had some hope. We'll get the salary, we'll get the salary. They waited and waited and waited. Almost when it started crossing 10 months, then 2 months salary was done. Okay, now a new hope comes in. Maybe we'll get, now maybe it's back on track. And again 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, it's again accumulated. Again, maybe after 10 months, they'll get 1 month salary. Now it's almost been 18 months, 20 months that they have received. Out of 20 months, they have received salary for only 3 months or 4 months. And now people are starting to quit because unko lag raha hai now the future is not bright. But the unfortunate story right now is that if that teacher is wanting to go to any other educational institute, see all other educational institutes know what is the problem with Sinhagad right now. Whenever they'll write in their resume, the teacher writes in the resume that I've been working with Sinhagad for the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever. They're saying Sinhagad, okay, 15,000 salary. And in Sinhagad, they are getting 60,000 salary. And what does a teacher then do? It's a big problem, no? See, they might have taken loans based on the 60,000 salary. And there are cases where both husband and wife are also in Sinhagad. Terrible cash flows. The impact is on cash flows. Okay. Now what happened with Sinhagad? Is a big story again. It's a big case study. Unfortunately, the balance sheet access will not be available to people like you and me. Why? It's not listed on the stock exchange. Na? We can't get an access to the balance sheet. It's a trust. But I have worked with Sinhagad for almost 3 years. Way back in 2009, 9, 10, 11, 3 years. Okay. But that time salary was on track. And the moment, roughly around in 2011 end, we started getting this feeling that they are not paying on time. So like for example, on the 5th of every month we used to get salary. Now they are not paying on time. So like for example, on the 5th of every month we used to get salary. Now it was starting like 10th, 18th, 20th. So delay hona chalu ho gaya tha. Okay. Now then we thought about what is going wrong. Is something going wrong or not? Then first time it happened that 1 month was skipped. And I said, now makes no sense staying here. Something is going wrong. So then we tried to analyze. Me and there was one more colleague who was also a CMA, CWA. And we tried to calculate that what is going wrong. They were expanding like anything. Sinhagad has more than 15 colleges to my knowledge, 15 campuses. In one campus you will have multiple colleges. One college of engineering, one college of pharmaceutical, one college of medical and all that. 15 campuses, and that to all posh campuses. Because all post-graduation. They'll have to give them a maintenance cost is high, beautification cost is very high. So what is happening? They're getting money. See, admissions are full. Okay. But if you're going on expanding and expanding and expanding, not all colleges will get that response. One of the campus can get good response. Not all 15 campuses will get an equal response. Okay. Now, as and how the number of campuses go on increasing, number one more campus to be entirely managed also becomes a big story. Maintenance cost is very high. In Marathi, we call that as Pandra Hatti. Hathi jo hota hai, the white category of elephant is very, very high cost maintenance especially. It's something like this. And every single time, every year you are increasing one campus. Every alternate year you are increasing one campus. Can I say that investment in fixed asset was very high? Absolutely very high. So what is happening? The impact is on free cash flows. And if you don't have free cash flows, how are you going to pay salary to your staff? What is free cash flows? Your operating revenue minus fixed assets is what is left with you. If this is in negative, you're gone. Maybe 1 year okay, maybe 2 years okay, maybe you're investing initially, but if you're going on the same model for back-to-back 3, 4 years, 5 years, stay away. Over-aggression. And over-aggression, if your top line, if your sale numbers don't work according to your expectation, down and dusted, you're gone. Are you understanding the importance of free cash flows? Okay, so if some businessman is super aggressive, he'll go on investing in fixed assets. But the problem starts creeping in when you don't generate that much amount of sales and that much amount of profit. Is this okay? Yes. So free cash flows, if you can write down. How is it calculated? Agreed. That you have understood. But interpretation part is very important. Which free cash flows are dangerous? Positive or negative? Negative cash flows. Write down negative free cash flows. Negative free cash flows. Acha, only for 1 year is dangerous or back to back 3, 4 years? Back to back 3 to 4 years. Negative free cash flows, comma, back to back for 3 to 4 years. Is considered to be dangerous. Is considered to be dangerous. Okay, till here? Have you understood the importance of free cash flows? Yes.
Ma'am, but what should companies
Hmm.
but now we have 3G in place. So
Now, first we had 2G, then 3G. Now, if you today's newspaper only says 5G in next 1 or 2 years. Hmm?
they have already started installing 5G towers in some
Exactly,
countries.
exactly.
So this is all going to become obsolete. The current infrastructure.
So that is why you know what is the position of telecom companies right now. No? We'll check some telecom company. See, what is the problem with telecom companies is that they are required to invest in so much high technology and fixed assets. The towers, it becomes very high cost maintenance for them as well. See, for idea, I had bought shares of idea. By the way, I sold it in profit so many years ago. But the IPO price of idea was somewhere around 80 rupees. And I had sold it somewhere around at 120 rupees. Today the share price is 10 rupees, 11 rupees. Okay. Their profitability position and all that we'll check. First, let's go to the financials. So, shall we just quickly check our parameters that we have already studied now in a quick manner? Yes. First, we said reserves. Okay. Now we'll see a big jump in the reserves, by the way. 18, 21, 20, 21, and so does this mean that idea has terribly started doing in a very fantastic manner? Terrible is the wrong word. They are fantastically doing very nice. And do you think this is realistic? और दया कुछ तो गड़बड़े सिनेरियो है. Why दया कुछ तो गड़बड़े सिनेरियो है? In till the previous year they are in the range of 20s, and all of a sudden in 1 year it's a jump of 2.5 times. Don't take this at face value. Don't take it immediately that it means that suddenly tremendous reserves are increasing. Means there might be something exceptional, something extraordinary that has happened. And what happened in this year was the Vodafone merger. And because of Vodafone merger, Idea Vodafone merger, that is why the reserves have gone up. Two companies coming together, na? And that is why the reserves have gone up. It's not that their profitability has tremendously increased in 1 year. That is why it has gone up. So always remember, if there's a big jump, don't conclude directly. See why this has happened. Why answer you will not get on money control. For that, why you'll have to go to the annual report. And in annual report, you'll see the breakup of this reserves and surplus. Na? We have that notes to accounts. In notes to accounts, you'll find why this sudden increase has happened. But at least what I do is, see, downloading all annual reports is a big maddening thing. See from money control, try to analyze, try to shortlist companies, na? And whatever companies you have shortlisted, download only their annual reports. That's a good way of studying. Smart work rather than donkey work. Right? So, okay, reserve position is good because of what now you know. Merger. Now, if you check today's discussion that we'll also check the debt to equity ratio. How much is total long-term borrowing? We'll check till the previous year. Till the previous year, how much it was? 57 roughly. And total shareholders funds is 25. So it's just above that 2:1. Just above that. Okay. Even now in this year, now what has happened? It has gone below 2:1. Why? Thanks to this reserves. That is why the position has improved. Otherwise it's not because of some big profitable business. Okay. Now if we try to check their liquidity position. For liquidity position, what is to what we checked? Current assets is to current liabilities. And how much is current assets? 19,000. And how much is current liabilities? Okay. So current liability is being way higher than your current assets. So very dangerous sign, bad sign. Okay, even if you check for the previous years, let us say current liability was only 10,000 in the previous year. See, so actually Idea Vodafone merge, because of that merger, this year figures are not comparable with previous year figures. Okay, so anyways, no, you can't do a direct into two. So Idea size and Vodafone size, not exactly the same. Because see, Vodafone was not listed in India. it was listed abroad. So their accounting methods, their accounting techniques might be different. It's not directly comparable. So if you remember, I told you IFRS is a globally accepted standard. If they were using IFRS, if we were also using IFRS, then I could have compared directly. Right now, I can't compare directly. Okay, so market size is same, does not mean that their profitability position will be same. Okay, so going to current assets, see, previous year total current assets were 8,500 something, and current liabilities were 10,000 something. I know it's a minor gap, but I told you anything below 1:1, where current assets are lower than current liabilities, ideally should not be acceptable. Correct? One more important point that we discussed today is now go to cash flows. We'll check what has happened with Idea Vodafone cash flows. Again, in current year, it's going to be completely different, but cash flow from operating activities. How much is this? See, 10,000 se gaya, 10,000 almost similar, and in March 18, directly half. Operating, and by the way, the merger is in year ended 19 na? Abhi apan upar jo dekh rahe the, that was year ended 19 na? Correct? So year ended 19, they have not, I don't know why they have not given the figures. But if you see here, directly operating activities, the revenue has gone half. Okay, again we should be cautious on this. And to understand the real position of free cash flows, we would have now, can I calculate free cash flows with this information? Can we directly calculate free cash flows? No. Why? We know how much is investing activities net. Where is fixed assets? किधर है fixed asset? Balance sheet, you have fixed assets, agreed. But fixed asset purchased on credit, we can't consider that. Na? Actual sale of fixed asset and actual purchase, we need cash flow statement only for that. So if you take this point, when we are talking about L&T cash flow, see, here these are the first two sub items. Are you understanding this? So you need to know investing ke andar ke 2 points. And for this again you will need the annual report. Other than annual report, this is not possible to calculate. Okay. So what you may do is that just after looking at the operating cash flow, if you feel that operating cash flow is halved, and if you see here investing, maybe it is in minus, and assume that major chunk, so you'll have to download it first. Actually, let's just check if we can.
availability होना कब से शुरू होता है? मतलब अभी 2019 का रिपोर्ट मार्च में
2019 report they'll finalize in March. मतलब March end May, they'll start working on that basically. It'll get finalized, it'll get prepared roughly in April. It'll get audited till May, and it'll be available for us by July. May तक audit हो जाता है उसका. So before May you can't expect any report coming up. They don't have the 19 report only. So in here also they were not showing 19 hour balance sheet. They were showing balance sheet of 19. I don't know why PDF is not available for download. Okay, so I hope you have understood this very important note. For free cash flow, can you check only money control? Money control will give you which figure? Operating activities it will give you. And to check how much purchase and sale of fixed assets was there, you have to go to the annual report. So you may just Jot this down, otherwise your free cash flow calculation will be wrong. Okay, so free cash flows, under free cash flows only, free cash flows can be calculated only after downloading the annual report. Because the figures relating to can be the annual report, because the figures related to purchase and sale of fixed assets because the figures relating to purchase and sale of fixed assets are available as a line item. I hope you are understanding line item as a separate line, na? As a separate line item. Under which activity? Cash flow from investing activity. As a separate line item under cash flow from investing activity. Cash flow from investing activity. Yes. Okay, this is the last one that we are going to do, and then we'll stop for the day. I've downloaded the annual Idea Vodafone balance sheet for you, annual report for you, sorry. So here we have the cash flow for year ended 31st March 18. Cash flow from operating activities. How much can you see it? So this is what we are checking for. Net cash generated from operating activities. Okay. 52,000 almost. Wait, also check the previous year figure. Almost halved in the current year. Can I say this is a danger sign as far as financials are concerned? Half the operating cash flows. Okay. So if you can just jot this down. Example, write down. Example is idea. And we'll write it in the columnar format only, na? Net cash flow. We'll actually write this much. Particulars, year ended 18, year ended 17. And I'll tell you how to calculate the cash, free cash flow. So write down particulars, year ended. No, year only, na? Under free cash flows only, na? We are talking about free cash flows. Oh, okay. Now the space is over. Acha, so you can take this as a separate one, mentioning how to calculate free cash flows. Take a separate one, how to calculate free cash flows. So this is a practical example now. Earlier we have written only the formula. It's particulars, then year ended 18 and year ended 17. Like this, no? This one is, this white one is particulars. And two smaller ones are year ended 18 and year ended 17. So what is the first particular? Net cash generated from operating activities. Net cash generated from operating activities. $51,853. We'll not consider the decimals right now. 51,853. And in the previous year, 1,01,399. 1,01,399. Correct? What is the next one? Now, less cash flow. Less cash flow from purchase of fixed assets. Less cash flow from purchase of fixed assets. Can you see here? Purchase of property, the first line item, na? purchase of property, plant, intangibles, correct? Everything. How much will you write? 86,040. 86,040. Bracket. Previous year 52,777. Now wait. अब और क्या टेंशन है फॉर टेलीकॉम कंपनीज? सी दिस इज लाइक फिक्स्ड एसेट अग्रीड, बट यू नीड टू ऑल्सो subtract spectrum. So spectrum is like an intangible for them, na? They'll have to buy that spectrum to give the services, correct? So right now we are shifting from 4G to 5G in the next 2 years. Will they have to again buy the spectrum for 5G? Yes. So that's like a fixed cost for them. Okay, so current year it is 0. So write down current year. So write down, this is only for idea, by the way. Spectrum charges, this is like a fixed asset. So less spectrum charges. Current year it is 0, and previous year I'll just add it up for you. It is 66,207 plus 7181 roughly. So you can write down 73,388. These two put together. Previous year 73,388. Correct? This is plus or minus? Minus, no? It's a payment for spectrum fees. Now what will you add? Sale of property, plant, equipment. Current year is 0, no? You can see here. So add, what will you do? Add sales of property, plant, equipment. Sale of property, plant, equipment. And how much is that? 363 in the current year and 356 in the previous year. Correct? And what is the last line now? Therefore, what do we get now? Free cash flows. Therefore, free cash flows is equal to, free cash flows is equal to, who can tell me what minus what should I do? See, anyways, if you not, just check on the screen for a moment. Okay, we'll just calculate for the current year right now. How do I start? Cash generated from operating activities, correct? And how much is it? Cash 51,853 plus or minus? Huh? Minus my investments, na? In plant machinery. How much is this? 86,004, sorry, 86,000. 86,040. Okay, minus, no, sorry, now plus. Why plus? I have sold something also, no? Whenever I am selling an asset, I'll get cash. So how much is that? 363. How much is free cash flow? Negative 33,824. It's a very dangerous sign. Okay, so now just write this down. Negative 33,824. Can you calculate for the previous year? How will you calculate for the previous year? Tell me. How much was cash flow from operations? 107. Right, no? No, sorry, 101. So 101,399 minus what? 52,777 minus. हाँ, वो पूरा कितना बताया था मैंने? 66 प्लस 7 का मैंने कुछ तो बताया था, 73,388. And plus, is there any sale of fixed assets? Minus, right on, minus 24,410. And this year the minus is much higher, no? So now please understand the importance of free cash flows. See, cash flow from operating activities is in positive. Classic case of idea. Cash flow from operating activities is positive. It was 1 lakh positive. It was 51,000 positive. But where is the problem?
cash flow.
Free cash flows is in negative, and free cash flow has increased in the negative. Okay, so always remember this. Don't take only operating activities. So why did I try to check this? Because operating activity had halved. Cash flow half ho gaya. So I should check in a more systematic manner what is the position for free cash flows. And when we check this, right now, many friends of mine are saying that idea can be a good buy. Many of my friends. Again, डूबती नैया का सहारा किसको? So they are saying, Rachna, you should buy idea. I said, why? बोले 10 rupees में मिल रहा है. I said, so my friend said that you will get a vada pav or a pattis or a small Cadbury even for 12 rupees, and you're getting idea share at 10 rupees. Is that the only parameter why I should buy idea? No. This 10 can also go down to 2. Right now with Jio coming into place and all this 5G, so now understand, with 5G coming into picture, they'll have to again invest in spectrum licenses. So I personally feel that this is still not the right time to buy. No idea to buy idea. Okay, so there are some people who feel that 10 रुपए का ही है ना, ले लेते हैं. पहले से ही लॉस हो गया पॉइंट. So hope and hope, but idea, see, when could our hope start or when could our hope stop is important. See, I hope you are understanding. As of now, our fundamental analysis entire lecture series is at least telling you, don't buy these stocks. So that's what I believe in. Okay, no one can tell you that अरे ये बहुत ही भारी एकदम buy करो ही करो. This calculation could go wrong, but at least what you should not buy at all is first what you have to learn. The road which we don't have to travel. If we learn that first, then going on the right road and then selecting good amongst the available is the next step. Okay, so I hope now all the negatives in your minds are becoming very clear. Yeah, I should not buy this, I should not buy on these basic parameters that I've given. So free cash flow concept is very clear. In fact, one of my cousin who works in a very renowned company, I'll not name it, and he works in New York for the past almost 10 years with that company. And I was asking him that, tell me one parameter that you check for liquidity of the company, only one parameter. And he had told me free cash flows. And when he told me, since that day, I started checking free cash flows of various companies. Otherwise, even I used to check operating cash flows. Again, because in our CA syllabus, we never learn a lot, or we don't understand free cash flows from an investing perspective. We would calculate it. We actually calculate the entire cash flow. This is there for our syllabus, how to compute this statement. But from analysis perspective, it's not there in our syllabus. Okay, so even big analysts would go ahead with free cash flows as a very important tool for understanding the liquidity position of the company. How much money would they have? Is this okay? So, formula for free cash flows, it would be cash flow from operating activities minus what? Purchase of fixed assets, and plus what? Sale of fixed assets. So it's a net cash flow from fixed assets, plus minus. So it's very logical, na? Cash flow from operating activities, whatever positive I have, so cash flow with me. Purchase of fixed asset karenge to cash will go out. Minus outflow for purchases, and when I sell, add the cash flow. Very logical. So why would Idea still continue the business? Why would Vodafone still go ahead with this business model? There, I feel that there could be only one reason. Any business sees this typical phase of first seeing profitability. Everyone feels, oh, telecom is profitable. Jao. Each and every, upon Marathi utsut. Everyone will start coming into picture. And telecom would then see a boom. Phase 1. Phase 2, too much of players. And not so much customers maybe. Or too much of players, and now starts the cutthroat competition. Now starts the price war. Saturation phase again. Price war chalo. Now in price war, that is where we saw from per minute billing to per second billing to incoming free to outgoing free now. Right now we pay only for data, as good as, and the monthly rentals. We pay for data. So right now, key is data. Key is data. No one is paying for calls right now. Everyone is paying for data right now. I had a plan of 512 MB per month 2 years ago for 1 month. 512 MB per month. And I still used to have 10 MB, 20 MB as a balance easily till the end of the month. Now I can't even imagine 512 MB per month. एक दिन में ही खत्म होता होगा उतना. So that is the level of data consumption. And who is the key player in data right now? It is Jio. So the one who comes up with this data thing, they are going to be the ones who are succeeding. So let me just quickly rewind back. We were in the saturation phase. After saturation phase, what happens? The loser or the weaker players will start falling off. Arcom gone. Virgin Mobile करके company था. Again they were network providers, gone. Uninor got merged. Okay, all these small players will now wither away. And now there is a phase where there will be only 3-4 major players. Now the war is only between these two or 3 or 4 maximum. Jio, Idea, Vodafone, Airtel, and if you consider BSNL. Otherwise only 3. And this is where now it's only 3. So there could be a turnaround. There could be a possible turnaround. But right now I don't feel is the good time to risk it out. We have to check how they are playing out with 5G. So what I feel, my philosophy, I'll tell you. Entering a little bit late is okay, rather than entering at a wrong time. Please remember this. Entering at a little bit late phase is okay. So just let us take this example. Aaj idea 10 rupees mein hai. And if 5G succeeds like anything and they are at 25, invest at 25. Don't worry. Don't be under the impression, shit, I should have bought when it was 10. No, buying at 10 was not a good idea at that time. It could have gone down to 2 also. So invest when their fundamentals are going stronger rather than you are in a mess right now. So this is a very thumb rule now, very important rule. Just because it is cheap, don't buy. Buying at a little bit expensive valuation is also okay, because it means that the company is coming back on track. Okay? Yes? Any other doubt? Quick doubt? No? Okay. Chalo, I'll see you tomorrow then. Bye-bye.